So I welcome on the stage our contest chair, Helen. Helen, to you.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Hi, everyone. Great to have you here. You know, I was only 10 or 11 when I went to my first Toastmasters meeting. My parents were both Toastmasters, and I remember they attended one club who met for breakfast, which I quite enjoyed. Now, at that age, I was so impressed by these people who could speak what seemed for a long time about a subject that was thrown at them at the last minute. Now, of course, that was table topics. And since then, I've really seen the benefit of being able to speak off the cuff with no preparation. Now, as Toastmasters, I'm sure you'll all agree that the table topic session in your club meeting is the best moment. This is when we are both exhilarated and terrified in equal measure. But it's so valuable. And this afternoon, you are in for a treat because we have 6 fantastic Toastmasters who have battled their way up to the district level. And I've got a couple of questions for them, which should hopefully spark their creativity. Now, a few housekeeping rules. The Table Topics contest will consist of a series of timed 1 to 2 minute impromptu speeches that will be judged by our panel of judges. The time will start as soon as the contestant gives the first verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. And contestants have up to 2 minutes to present their topic. We have a timer, a couple of timers online, who will indicate the minimum time of 1 minute with a green indication, orange or yellow at 1 minute 30, yellow at 1:30, and red at 2 minutes. The red will then stay on until the contestant has completed their speaking, and they will be disqualified if their speech is less than 30 seconds under the minimum time and 30 seconds above the maximum time. But there will be no indication for going over time. The judges are instructed to not consider time in their ranking of the speakers. The contestants will be taken out of the room by our Zoom master and brought in one by one. Now, because we're doing this online, we have a special rule. If there is a significant technical difficulty, the contestant will be informed, so I will turn my video back on and my sound back on and interrupt them if we can't see or hear them for a significant period of time. The timer will then pause the timer. The contestant will be asked to fix their technical issue, and they'll be given up to 5 minutes to do so. When they're ready, they will inform me. I will make sure the timer is ready to go again, and we will continue the time. There will be no restarts. An additional 30 seconds will be given onto the time should a significant technical difficulty take place. Okay, and the contestants and timers have been informed of this rule. All contestants have been briefed and are present, and I think we're ready to get on with the contest. Madam Chief Judge Carina, have all the contest officials been briefed, and are we ready to proceed?
Welcome everybody. I'm happy to support the table topic contest as a chief judge with a brave team of judges, timers and ballot counters, those black icons. I'm sorry, I want to recognize people at the very beginning also for you. And Madam Contest Chair, of course, I confirm direct to you that all judges are eligible and they were briefed. Thank you.
Thank you, Carina. As with a in-person contest, the judges will be given 1 minute of silence between each contestant so that they can complete their judging. Timekeepers, can I ask one of you to please indicate when the 1 minute has elapsed in the silence? Yes, I see okay from Gianluca. Thank you. Please note that other than the timer, all other videos will remain off, and as well as microphones, and the speeches are not to be recorded. But we are live on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. The speaking order of the contest was determined earlier this week, and I can now share with you what that looks like. So we have Paul Otto. Our second speaker is Abdul Rahim Massoud. Third, Amélie Pommier. Fourth, Carina Schey. Fifth, Hilarie Burke. And sixth, Markus Seppäla. So all except the first contestant will leave the room, taken by the Zoom master to a breakout room, because obviously they're not allowed to hear the question in advance. Each time I introduce a contestant into the room, I will check that their sound and video is working and that they're ready to go. I would ask for a thumbs up. Zoom master, can you please remove all of our contestants apart from...
Madam Contest Chair, all the contestants have been moved.
Great. Thank you. Paul, can you please unmute and turn your video on?
Hello, I'm Paul.
Hi, we can see you and we can hear you. Great. Now, Paul, you have the possibility to choose the fate of our contest with 2 envelopes. Which envelope will it be?
Number 1, please.
Number 1. So all of the contestants will get the same question or topic, which Paul has now chosen. As a reminder, I will say the contestant's name, then I will read out the topic. I will read out the topic again and say the name, and then the timing will start when Paul is ready. Paul Otto, congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Paul Otto.
Thank you. I think this concept of jumping from job to job is quite a new occurrence. I sometimes think about how life used to be, that you would just grow up with your father's craft, learn it, practice it, perfect it, and carry out the same craft for your entire life. And sometimes I watch YouTube videos of Japanese craftsmen who do exactly that and work their entire life just perfecting one thing. But that's not my reality. That's probably not your reality. Our reality is we jump from thing to thing. As technology progresses faster and faster, new opportunities come up again and again. Now, I've been at my previous job for only 2 years. I was incredibly excited to get started with it. And very quickly, disappointment set in as my boss wasn't what he promised to be. So I've come to this job, jumped out of it, and now the same thing is happening again. I'm euphoric. I got a new position, higher salary, new city, amazing people are gonna wait for me. And one thing I gotta tell you, they have a coffee machine in the office. Have you seen that thing? You grind your own beans, you can dose your own beans, you pull your espresso shots, it's amazing. I'm so excited to start working here. And I think the mission of the company to improve the world, blah, 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 that's all nonsense. I do just think at every new job, I need to give it my best. I need to be motivated. I need to try to connect with the new people. And even if I already know this job, there's a high chance I might not like it. There's a high chance I only do it for a short amount of time. That does not matter. Anything you do, always, be it giving a speech, be it meeting a person you don't like, or be it a new job that maybe will turn out great, maybe not. Always give it your all.
Thank you, Paul. Now we're ready for our second speaker. Abdul Rahim Massoud. Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Abdul Rahim Massoud.
A new job means a new goal, a new start, and a new world. Madam Contest Chair and fellow Toastmasters, well, believe it or not, I just shifted 2 months back from Milan to Turin because I found a new job. Well, I was really excited before I came here. When I came to Turin, I was at my office for only 2 days. Sadly, as we all know, we entered into lockdown. But I was so excited even after that because it would be the first time that I would meet my colleagues virtually. Who would have ever thought? This job is exciting for me and also quite unusual because of the virtual type of work. When my manager sends me something like, Abdul, please try to insert this in the presentation, I do what she says, but because it's like a virtual type of typing, she forgets to say where to insert it. And we end up doing it 1,000 times, and the same way the whole day goes in one presentation. But there's a great saying. A wise man once said, great things starts with unusuality. So I'm sure about my very excitable future because I've started my new job in an unusual manner. Thank you for the congratulations, by the way. This was not the way I expected it to go. But again, what is life without challenge? I am lucky to have a job in this pandemic, and that is why I'm excited. I'm excited that I can earn some money. I'm excited because I've started this job in a very unusual manner. I'm excited that after I go back to normal working hours, I will see my colleagues face to face for the first time and tell them, hey, remember me from Zoom? Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. Our third contestant is Amélie Pommier. Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Amélie Pommier.
Dear Toastmasters, dear guests, today I'm really happy to give you the important news that I finally found a job. Yes, it's still the lockdown here, but I managed to find a job. I will let you know what it is because you all knew that I used to be in public relations. And at the moment, it's such a crisis that all the doors were closed for me in public relations. So I tried to look around what I could do because I could not stay home all day. And I found the perfect job. I'm now working in a supermarket because there are all such a big need of people working in supermarkets that I thought, okay, why not I would do it? I would see so many people, and that's what I wanted. That's what I got. Seeing again many people around, doing very different things, but mainly seeing people, chatting with people, giving some words and all that. That's for me the best place. And I advise you all, when maybe you're tired of sitting home, with the computer or also looking for a job, think about that. Go to the supermarket. It's really not the job that you vote. It's opening you to lots of people around. Back to you, contest chair.
Thank you, Amélie. Our fourth contestant is Carina Schey. Carina, can you say something? We'll check your sound.
Hi, I'm glad to be joining you.
Great, we can hear and see you fine. Carina Schey, congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Carina Schey.
Contest chair, ladies and gentlemen, for all of us, when we change jobs, it is a challenge. But this particular job change has probably been the biggest challenge of my life. By way of a bit of background, I qualified as a pharmacist many, many years ago, of course. And then during the course of my career, I specialized in health economics. Challenging to work in the pharmaceutical industry. Everybody knows that. But then I hit a turning point in my life and I decided it was time to change my career path completely. And I am now trained as an elephant trainer. Now, you may wonder why anybody would go from pharmacy to health economics to working with elephants. Well, people say you should follow your passion in your career, and that's what I've done. Elephants are my passion. I've learned so much from my elephant already. He's a 2-year-old. He's stubborn and has tantrums like human 2-year-olds. But the only difference is, and this is where the big challenge comes in, when you can pick up a 2-year-old person, baby, and put them in their place, you can't pick up a 2-year-old elephant. And my 2-year-old elephant weighs already 500 kilograms. He loves spraying me with water, especially in winter. And I have to say that so far, that has been one of the biggest challenges. There is another one. It's the people who visit my elephant because they think that they should be feeding him bananas and all sorts of other crazy things. Don't feed the animals. Ladies and gentlemen, my biggest challenge, working with elephants. Contest chair.
Thank you, Carina. Hilarie Burke, congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Hilarie Burke.
I just got a new job. I'm a journalist, and I have an interest in things aquatic. The new job I received requires that I have to put on a wetsuit and a tank and go underwater and take pictures of fish and observe people who work under the water. This includes people that work on oil rigs and things like that. The problem is, I can't stand the idea of putting a tank on. And the idea of having to breathe like this, even for just a few minutes, terrifies me. What am I going to do? Well, I can just try to use my imagination and pretend that I went down there, but you know that won't work. In journalism, you have to actually be at the site. So I'm going to put my wetsuit on. I'm going to put that heavy tank on my back. I'm going to close my nose and close my eyes and jump down into the water and see how it works. And all of us have to face fears all the time. So when that bit of claustrophobia shows up, I'm going to just breathe slow, which is what they tell you to do when you put on an oxygen tank, and remind myself that everything is fine in this moment. Perhaps I'll just feel the water around me and realize that I can do this. I can go into this space where I've never been before, this claustrophobic, tanked space. I will totally overcome one of my greatest fears. When I first got this job, I had no idea that it was going to be an opportunity for me to overcome my greatest fear, my claustrophobia. I can't wait to get down there and look at all those little fishies under the water with my new tank and wetsuit. Master Contest Chair.
Thank you, Hilarie. Markus Seppäla, congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Congratulations on your new job. It sounds really interesting and rather unusual. What do you find most challenging about it? Markus Seppäla.
Madam Contest Chair, dear fellow Toastmasters, my name is Markus Seppäla and I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been about 13 years in corporate life, going through consulting firms and industry positions. But at the beginning of this year, my role was eliminated. And I took this as an opportunity to do my passion, stand-up comedy full-time. I started performing stand-up comedy about 3 years ago, just going to an open mic here in Basel, and I've developed it ever since. For example, last year, I performed 60 gigs on 4 continents. I was in Kenya, I was in the US, I was in Shanghai, I was everywhere. And the decision that I made in January, after my redundancy, was that I'm going to do stand-up comedy full-time. Now, I don't think you're going to find any more unusual jobs, but let me give you a couple of feelings for it. Firstly, look at the work environment. We're in dark bars, we're at late night, we're with a lot of funny, nice people. Who wouldn't want that? We can sleep in until noon to prepare for the show. What a great benefit. And finally, as a comedian, I get to express myself in front of people. And I know that I only have one goal in mind, and that is to make people laugh. A lot of other public speaking, you don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be. But my task is to make people laugh. And that means that I can also measure it. Guys, stand-up comedy is an amazing job, and I would certainly recommend that to anybody. And if you want to really engage with the people, try making them laugh. Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you, Markus. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. Now you can all breathe, enjoy. And everyone, a big round of applause. It's really hard in this medium to give you the energy that I know you need when you stand up and perform in front for the table topics. So I really felt your pain and I wanted to give you more, but you all did a really great job. Well done. Now the winners will be...
Gianluca had you full on the screen and you were smiling, and that just meant, oh, at least I can see one person.
Yes, the Times did an amazing job. Everyone did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Very well run. The winners will be announced this evening during the awards ceremony. So we'll be getting back online for that for sure. Now, I have some participant certificates to share with you. So Abdul, yeah, well done, Abdul. Oops, problems now. Amélie, congratulations. Carina. Hilarie? Markus?
Yeah.
And Paul? Well done, all of you. Those certificates will be shipped to you as soon as we are able. Now it's time for the interviews. So I will interview each of you in the order that you have presented, apart from Amélie, as she still has another contest to go.
Oh, very good.
Yes, so stay tuned for that. So first of all, Paul, where are you? There you are. Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What's your club like?
I was born and raised in Berlin. I lived in Edinburgh in Scotland for 5 years, and now I live in Sofia in Bulgaria, representing the beautiful country of Bulgaria here. And our club is a regular Toastmasters club, I would say. We meet every 2 weeks, and we have a lot of fun together, especially at table topics.
I was going to ask, what is your favorite part of Toastmasters?
I think my favorite part is the analytical part, that is the evaluation of everything. So you evaluate the speeches, you evaluate the evaluators, you evaluate the room, everything, and I love that. I could go into so much detail each meeting. Luckily, we have timers that do cut the time on those evaluations short.
Indeed, I think that's an important part of Toastmasters because we tend to like to speak. So it's good to be timed and cut off sometimes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul. Really great to meet you, and thank you so much for competing. Now, Abdul, Rahim, Massoud.
Hey.
Hi. Now, you competed in evaluation yesterday, as well as table topics.
Yes.
So,
yes,
how did you prepare for these online contests differently than you might have prepared for the in-person?
That's a very good question. First of all, I would like you to know a secret that, as you know, that I'm not sure if all of you know, but this is the month of Ramadan. So I'm fasting. And I've been fasting yesterday and also today, and my lips are dry, you know, because of the nervousness, and I'm not allowed to drink water also. But this was very challenging and very exciting. The way I practice differently that I would be in person, there is no difference actually, because it is the same contest. I think the only difference is that thanks to this kind of virtuality, that most of us have become masters in speaking in front of the camera. And that is a very, very important skill that we can learn. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's quite difficult. I mean, we are all used to seeing audience. We're all used to hearing people laugh to our jokes. We're all used to hearing loud claps when we come on stage and leave the stage. I think that's the only thing I missed, but everything else the same. And if you're asking me how I practice for table topics, I just pray to God, help me. That's all.
Great, thank you so much, Abdul. Well done, especially during Ramadan. That makes it an extra challenge for you. Well done. Carina, now we saw you twice already yesterday, evaluation and the international speech contest, and now table topics.
Yeah.
What on earth got into your head?
Well, to be fair, when I competed at club level, I didn't anticipate winning all three or going through to all three. And the same applied at area and the same applied at division. And shortly after the results of the division came out, I did think, should I drop something? And then I thought, no, what the hell, go for it all in. And there we are.
Well done, you must be pretty exhausted now after those 2 intense days.
Really hyped up.
Yes, the adrenaline. Well done, Carina.
Thank you.
Hilarie Burke.
Hello.
Hello, we also saw you yesterday at the International Speech Contest, didn't we?
Yes, indeed.
Well done. And what do you get out of competing? Why do you do it? Put yourself through this extra stress?
I don't know, because I actually don't consider myself a competitive person. And until I won my first Toastmasters contest, I wouldn't have thought much of it. But then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it again. And somehow, like a little thread that leads you down the road, I kind of keep getting drawn into it. I was a performer for years, and I haven't performed really since the early 2000s. So this is an opportunity for me to let that part of myself out, which I really appreciate. Well, that's it.
Will you do it again?
Sure, definitely. Especially
Great. Well, yeah. Thank you, Hilarie. Well done. And Markus Seppäla, you also competed yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
So I've got the same question that I gave to Abdul. How did you prepare differently?
I don't know. I mean, yesterday's contest, I basically had a nap just before the contest. I think that's an important thing you can do when you're doing this from home that you cannot do in other places. And I think we all kind of do things to set our minds at ease, and something like that is really important to me. You can see my couch behind me. Lying on that couch is one of the most comfortable places where I can be. That's where I just need to collect my thoughts before.
So will you go for a nap once we close the contest?
I go for naps every day, man. I'm unemployed. I got laid off. I got nothing but time. I'm taking all the naps that I can. And this is one of the best times to be unemployed. I'm telling you that.
This is true. Very true. Well done, Markus.
Thanks.
Now, do we have the chief judge back yet? Doesn't look like it. Carina, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, other Carina. Carina with a K.
Yeah, the first time you said Carina, I was like, what?
Yes, sorry.
We have too many of them. We have to get rid of one. Shall we vote?
Yeah,
Who's off the island?
spelled differently, so it's okay.
Well, I can ask some other questions. I'd like to know, it's an amazing district that we live in, and we're all from all over the world. I'm from New Zealand, but I'm now Swiss, based near Geneva. Let's do a quick round of who's from where. Paul, you're from Berlin, living in Bulgaria.
I'm representing and living in Sofia in Bulgaria.
How many languages do you speak then?
I speak about 2 languages, and I can order a beer in like 9.
Wow, that's the most important thing, right, about learning a language.
Yes.
Great. And Abdul, so you're in Italy now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Italy now, but I was born in India and I lived my life in Saudi Arabia and I came to Italy. So my home is where I am right now. Italy.
Fantastic. Thanks, Abdul. And how many languages do you speak then?
6 languages.
Wow. Confidently 6 languages. Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
And Carina, where are you from? That accent I know.
Complicated. Born in Burundi, grew up in South Africa, lived in the UK for 26 years, now here and travel on a Dutch passport.
Wow. And what about the languages?
Oh, sorry, only.
So it's Abdul winning, maybe? So far, Abdul's winning number of languages. Hilarie.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you from? Where are you now?
I was actually also born in Japan and lived in Asia till I was 12, and then spent my growing up years, or whatever you want to call it, in the United States, and moved to Switzerland in 2008. And I only speak 1 language. I speak German, but it's rather embarrassing. my only
to get around
language is English.
I imagine you can speak enough to order a beer. Or a glass of wine.
I can do that. I can order a beer, but I cannot have a philosophical discussion. I would prefer.
Thank you. And finally, Markus.
Yes, I am ethnically Finnish, but I was born and raised in Sweden, and now I live here in Switzerland. I even started a comedy club here, or Comedy Basel, here in Switzerland. I speak 4 languages, and I perform comedy in all 4 languages.
Wow, that's impressive. Wow. Amazing. Fantastic. I see Carina's back, the other Carina, the chief judge. Oh, do you have your results? Can't hear you.
Mr. Chair, we have finished the ballot countings, and we have announced the results privately in the message to you and to Lorenzo.
Exciting. Great. Thank you so much, Carina. So that's the end of the contest. Thank you everyone who participated. Judges, Zoom masters, timers, contestants. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much. And now I can hand back to Lorenzo.